Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a relatively quick League of Legends video. Now, I actually want to upload another video today, but I thought, you know what, with this coming out and this being pretty important and interesting information, I want to make a video about this instead. So the video I had today will go out for tomorrow instead, but regardless, let's talk about this topic. So AZIR rework, as of course, I'm sure most of you know, I've talked about it, is going to be, it is happening, right? There will be one happening sometime. But finally, Riot, just 12 hours ago, gave us a post talking about AZIR's gameplay update, the goals and directions. Now, this obviously means that the rework is essentially here, right? They're actually finally working on it. They're finally giving us ideas and just the thoughts and processes that they want to take to change AZIR, what they want to change, how they want to change it, and all that good stuff. So they're finally going from, yeah, AZIR will get a rework eventually. So yeah, this is exactly what we're planning on doing. Which one do you like more? They give us two options in this post, and you know, essentially the rework is finally here, which is great news because AZIR finally he really does need one. This guy has been in a peculiar situation for a little bit too long. So I'm glad that they're finally, you know, sharing a lot more information with us. And with all that being said and done, let's just go through the post. I'll give you guys the idea and what they're trying to do with him. And there's two different options again. Maybe in the comments below, you guys can list or write down which option you think is better. Maybe Riot can use this even potentially to have a better idea as to what people want. And yeah, let's just check out exactly what Riot wants to do. So the goals. Increase opponents' play options when playing against AZIR. Okay, well, I hear that in literally every single rework nowadays. More counterplay, more fair play. Increase AZIR's life ranked performance, so essentially buff him, and preserve his core play pattern of summoning sand soldiers and using them as his auto attacks, right? Because at the end of the day, his gameplay fantasy is him being a Shuriman Emperor, and he summons soldiers to do his bidding. So there's two options. There's two major directions. They'll take one of the two based on, you know, community feedback and things like that. So let's quickly look at them. I think option 2 is better personally, but you know, you guys can check it out for yourselves and, you know, let me know and let Riot know which one you think is better. Option 1, reduce AZIR's soldier command range, exposing him to more opponent damage and CC opportunities when he is dealing damage. So, for instance, his ranges will still be decently long, but it will be shorter compared to the live server by about 15%. Affords his mobility profile remaining similar to live, so doing, you know, like the EQ, you know, Shuriman shuffle and all that shit, you know, we just go behind him and ultimate stuff, that'll remain more or less the same. Might mean he needs more on-demand survivability, so obviously since he will be kind of a mid-range caster versus a long-range caster, similar to that of, I think they said Cassiopeia, Rise, because they say down here somewhere. Yeah, Cassiopeia and Rise, if they take direction 1, is the range he'll have roughly. Then, you know, he will need something to help him a little bit to survive because now he's suddenly a bit more, you know, in the middle of the battle rather than being all the way in the back where they can focus more on just damage in his abilities and his kit. So this is the direction that reduces the most pressure on us to dramatically change the functionality on his current spells, but it still may require some decent changes depending on what we discover. Okay. Option 2. Keep AZIR's, it's pretty much the opposite. Keep AZIR's live soldier command range. So the exact range he currently has to command his soldiers will remain. So this will not happen essentially. But reduce his mobility profile so he is more easily killed when you do have the tools to close the gap on him, right? So essentially he'll become like a Xerath if you think about it, right? Where Xerath has, you know, pretty much no defensive abilities. I mean, his E is pretty much his only defensive ability, like he has, like, period. But he has very long range, right? So if you get on Xerath, you know, you probably can kill him. Same with AZIR in the second option, right? Well, he'll do a lot of damage from afar. You know, he'll be chilling like just way in the back, like Xerath or something like that. Maybe even like, I don't know, a Lux. I don't know. But if you finally get on him with an assassin or, you know, someone like Fiora or Riven or whatever, he'll be pretty vulnerable, right? So affords soldiers lasting longer than they currently do. So the soldiers that you spawn will just simply be on the field and be there longer before they just simply vanish into like thin air or into dust or whatever, into sand. Most likely means that we remove his ability to drift or dash to his soldiers. So essentially the Shuriman shuffle will no longer be a thing. I'm not sure how much it'll be limited. Like, can you just, I mean, I'm sure you can still use your E to the soldiers. Maybe his E will be completely reworked. I mean, I'm almost positive you won't be able to use the E into the Q anymore if they take option 2. Which obviously, you know, it makes sense. It's fine. I think this is still better. I mean, this is a lot. It's really fun to do it, and it looks really cool. But at the same time, if they go option 1 to maintain the Shuriman shuffle or Shuriman shuffle, then it's gonna be like, you know, I don't feel like that's like the actual gameplay fantasy that AZIR really should have, right? He should be an emperor that sits in the back, that summons soldiers from afar, and they do the work for him. That should be what he should be. That's how his playstyle should be. So this is the direction that restricts AZIR to be even more of a backliner, right? Again, do you want him to be kind of a mid-range caster that has mobility, or do you want him to be a backline caster that sits way, way far in the back, but has a lot of damage in his kit, but pretty much no mobility, right? Or very, very little compared to now. So regardless of our choice, we will most likely be buffing Azir's Sand Soldier stab damage and overall DPS, but at the same time, we'll also be looking for ways to ensure his laning phase is less oppressive when his numbers are tuned up. Oppressive, in case you don't know, essentially means just less aggressive or less, just weaker. A decently successful mechanic we have tested a bit so far is reducing his soldiers' AoE damage early game and scaling it back up to 100% by champion level. This means Azir can still have threatening single target damage throughout his match, but less wave control early game, which kind of makes sense because Azir, if you play him really, really well, and this is the problem with him before, is the fact that he scales really well, but he still had a really good laning phase, because if you command the soldiers properly, you can not only push in the wave faster than a lot of other people can push the wave, especially level 1, but you can also actually hit the minions and the champions at the same time if they miss position, which was easy to do. And, you know, it just gave Azir too strong of a laning phase for how well he also scales. Again, we're still, you know, they're still pretty early into this, you know, but they're giving us a lot of information here. They're giving us finally directions and stuff, but they do want feedback, right? They do want feedback on the two directions, and at the end of the day, they want to deliver an Azir that is exciting to his current players and potentially new ones, that doesn't warp the metagame around himself when he is fairly tuned for the average player. So there you guys have it. Some pretty interesting information. I want to see if Riot have explained or responded to anything more. Let's see here. No, there's only 2 responses, nothing interesting yet. But that's pretty much the idea, and that's the goal that they're trying to do with the Azir. There you guys have it, you know. Let me know in the comments below. Not for just myself, but also for maybe Riot, in case for whatever reason they decide to click on the video and watch the video. They'll have more feedback and stuff like that from you guys as well. What do you think is better, option 1 or option 2? So I think option 2 is better, personally. I think this is more of the, you know, the fantasy that Azir should have and how he should be played. As, you know, the Emperor of Shurima, you know, commanding his soldiers from afar, and they do his bidding essentially, which is pretty cool. But I mean, either option will be cool, but I do think option 2 is probably better. So let me know what you guys think. AZIR Rework is finally here. It's fantastic news. I'm glad that they're finally giving us so much more information. They're finally giving us the directions that they want to do and what they want to do with him. And I feel like we can start expecting the AZIR Rework coming decently soon. You know, probably not in the next week or 2. But pretty damn soon. So there you guys have it. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed the video, hit it with that like button, share with your friends, let everyone else know what's happening to AZIR and that the rework is finally being worked on and it's finally here. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Peace, peace, peace.